Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I got most of my makeup on, but I'm missing, can you guess? I'm missing my contour and highlight. Today I'm going to show you how to create definition and dimension with contour and highlight. I think that contour is a mix of creating illusions and enhancing natural features, which means that we're going to make the hollows of our face a little darker and make the protruding parts of our face, or like the high parts of our face, lighter so they stand out. So for this video, I'm going to be filming sitting in front of my vanity with the camera facing the mirror, only because I want to try and get two angles of how I contour. Hopefully it works out. If you don't like how this looked, please let me know in the comments. If you do, then also let me know that you liked that. So I'm going to try. I'm hoping that this works, and I hope that it's easy for you guys to see what I'm doing. So in this video, I'm going to be cream contouring. I feel like cream contouring is pretty difficult because you have to blend the products very well, or else it can look really patchy and like muddy, dirty looking. So I want to show you that. I'm going to be setting it with some powder bronzer as well. But of course you can do this with only powders, or you can only do cream contouring and set it with like a translucent powder and not with the colored bronzers. So when you're going to be cream contouring, it's important for you to have no powder products on your face. So I don't have anything on my face except for my foundation. If you're going to be bronzing and contouring with only powder products, so either make sure that your foundation is fully dry before you go in with your powder products, or set your entire face with a powder and then go ahead and do your bronzing and contouring. So that way your powders glide seamlessly over your skin and it doesn't cling onto wet areas. I also just wanted to tell you that the way that I contour isn't necessarily the way that you have to contour. Everybody has a different shaped face, different bone structure. Something that I find helpful is on Pinterest, you can look up contouring face charts. So determine the shape of your face. I think that my face is kind of like, it's kind of oval, but I feel like I have a pointy chin, so therefore it makes me more like a heart-shaped face. So I'm like oval, and then like it gets pointier. So I think that's more like a heart shape. You see that? How it's like a heart shape? And then you can see like what contouring works best for your face shape. So I'm going to show you guys how I contour my face. I'm going to show you guys techniques and tips on contouring in general, no matter what your face shape is. This is a Wet n Wild's contour stick in the color Call Me Maple. As you can tell, it's very much loved. But I also like this sleek little palette. This is a cream contour kit in the color Medium. That's what that looks like. You got like some lighter highlighting shades and then darker contouring and bronzing shades. So for concealer, I'm going to use this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circle Treatment in the color Light. So right here I can feel the hollow of my cheek. Okay, so I'm going to apply my contour stick a little bit above, like right above where my hollow is. And I'm bringing that down about to like the corner of my eye. Now you want to work a little bit at a time always with contouring. That's why makeup takes such a long time. Like literally I cannot do my makeup in less than an hour. It's always like an hour, at least an hour or more. Because you always got to use a little bit at a time and build it up, because it's easier to add, harder to take away. So these are the places that I like to contour. I like to contour the perimeter of my forehead because I have like a larger forehead, so I just want to make it look a tiny bit smaller. And contour my cheeks so I can look like all sunken in, Kim Kardashian-like. And then I like to contour my chin because it's pointy and I don't really like it looking all pointy. So I like to contour that. I'm going to blend this out with my damp Eco Tools sponge. So first I'm going to be like rolling my sponge upwards. Roll it like this. I feel like that helps to blend the product upwards. Okay, once you have blended out most of the product, you can start pouncing. And always keep your sponge also a little bit higher. Like the bottom of the sponge should be leveled with the edge of the contour here. Don't let the sponge be down here because you're going to be bringing the color down in this part, which you don't want. I don't like to contour along the perimeter of my jaw just because I feel like my jawline is already defined enough, so I don't really do much there. So I like to do all the cream contouring first and then go ahead and do the highlighting later. Some people do it at the same time. I feel like that way it's a little bit riskier, like there is no room for making mistakes. When you do it this way, you can make mistakes and go ahead and clean it up later with some concealer. So that's why I like to contour first and then go ahead and conceal at the end, because you can cover up any goofs or you know, blend things out a little bit better. Okay, so for my forehead, I don't do the rolling motion. I pretty much just pounce. So like I said, I contour the perimeter of my forehead. Not everyone has to do that. If you have a smaller forehead, I suggest you don't do that because this is going to really make your forehead look smaller than it already is. You want to highlight it more than contour it if you have a smaller forehead. I like to blend everything into my hairline. My favorite Maybelline concealer. I like to bring the concealer onto the sides of my nose like this because I like to contour my nose. Because I feel like I have a bump right here on my nose. I don't know if you can tell, right there. So I like to contour it, make it look a little bit straighter and narrow. Then I put a tiny bit on my chin just to blend out the bronzing that we did. And I do a tiny bit on my forehead as well to clean up there. But I don't like to highlight too much in these areas. So I'm going to use my sponge like this to blend out my concealer on the sides of my nose. Then I'm going to flip it this way so that the straight edge of it can go along the side of my nose. So I go like this, then I flip it over and go like this. Also use your concealer and the edge of the straight edge of the sponge to sharpen up your eyeshadow. Okay, so once I have it blended out mostly, right here you can see like a line of where it ends. So I like to use the round part of my sponge and very lightly go over that to blend it out and blend it into the the contour. So right here we are blending the concealer and the contour together. Okay. Now I'm going to use a clean side of the sponge because I don't want to apply any more color to this area, and blend out my chin and my forehead. I'm very careful with this part because I don't want to ruin my eyebrows. Bring the concealer up a little bit higher so that you can blend it into the cream contouring. Then use the round part again so that you can blend the two together. Okay, now that we have all the edges to our concealer blended, I'm going to clean up underneath my contour just a tiny bit, but I'm not going to use concealer for that. I'm going to use the foundation that I used. Tiniest little bit. Pick it up with the straight edge of my sponge and clean it up. Go underneath your cheekbones, underneath the hollow, and bring that down. Blend it out. This is going to clean up any mistakes that you made with the concealer. If you brought it down a little bit too far, you're cleaning it up, but it's not going to look so bright like this part. And blend that line out with the round part. The only thing I will do is go like this to the bottom of my nose, and that's it. I don't cream contour the sides. contouring underneath your nose right here helps to make it look a little bit shorter and more like pointed upwards. Again, everyone contours their nose differently depending on the kind of nose that you have. If you already have a really slim nose, you don't want to do this. If you have a really pointy, slim nose and you want it to look shorter, then you definitely want to do this. You want to contour the tip and the bottom of your nose and it'll help make it look a little bit shorter. I'm just going to go over the under eye creases a little to blend them out before I set. I'm going to be using Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the color Fair Light. It's number 10. I'm going to use this short flat side of the sponge to pick up some color. And I'm going to start on the edge of my nose. Like this. And then I'm going to bring this underneath my eye here. And that's it. I'm not going to bring it up in this area here, because then that's going to interfere with like my shimmery highlight. I have a really deep crease on the edge of my nose, so that part is really important to me. Also, if you have fine lines on the side of your mouth, go ahead and place some loose powder there. Whatever is left on the sponge, apply it to the chin. Go up a tiny bit more. And apply this to the center of my forehead. Again, being careful with your eyebrows if you have them already done. So I feel like I just need to add a little bit more to the edge of my nose here, using the flat side. That's why I love this sponge, because it's great for nose contouring, being precise. So we set it and we kind of baked, but not too much. I don't have that much powder on my face. As you can tell, it's not like stark white in those areas. But I am going to just let it sit there for 1-2 minutes, not very long. And I'm going to use this brush here, which I love. This is the Morphe M500 brush. I got it at Ulta. It has long bristles and it's pretty flimsy. And this is what I dust my bake with. And not only am I dusting away my bake, but I'm also bringing that powder and like sweeping it over my entire face like that. So again, sweep here, and then bring the excess powder onto the rest of the face. So this is going to set all the cream products so that we can do the bronzing, and again, like I mentioned earlier, so that the powders don't stick to the wet areas and it looks patchy. Sweep away the chin like this. Okay, sweep away on here and kind of bring it over into this area that we applied cream contour. I have oily skin, and doing this method, doing this technique, trust me, it's gonna stay on, it's gonna stay put, you're not gonna get greasy. So I'm going to use this angled brush here. So I like this brush because it fits right here. I like to contour my nose, bring up my contour up to this area right here, because you're kind of connecting your nose contour into the contour or the transition of your crease, of your eye crease, so it can look really natural. So it's going to go like, that's all contour. This is the Take Home the Bronze from The Balm. This is Thomas here. I'm going to use Thomas. I'm going to apply it onto kind of like both sides. Let me show you, like boop, boop, like that. Tap off excess product. Really got to make sure you do that. And I'm going to start right in here, kind of stamping it a little bit. Stamp it over here. So now you want to kind of look at your face in an angle so that you know where to apply your nose contour, okay? So I kind of go into an angle and you can kind of see like where you want it to be. So, and make sure to connect it up into the one right here we applied in that little nook. Bring it down. Look the other way and bring it down. Look straight on into the mirror to make sure that you're making it straight, because you don't want to make your nose look crooked when it's not crooked. Because you can do that. Again, creating illusions. So I apply most of the color right up to here and not so much right here. I do, but not very much. I just go foop, like that. That's it. But most of the color I like to apply right here. Only because if you do it all throughout, it's going to look really weird. 2 stripes on your face. You want to try and make this look as natural as possible. You don't want people to know that you have bronzer on the sides of your nose. You want it to just look like you have a naturally slim nose. My nose is kind of like pinched right here, so I go like this, kind of like a V shape, just to make it look a little bit more natural. So now to blend that out, I'm going to grab a dual fiber stippling brush. This one is from BH Cosmetics. Okay, so I'm going to blend the bottom powder and on the sides like this. Just go over everything. Sweep up if you need to. Okay, I'm going to highlight the bridge of my nose here. I applied setting powder to this little part. It's like the tip. There's a little itty bitty thin straight edge up here on the sponge. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to look straight into the mirror and like this so that I can get right the center of my nose. So I highlighted the bridge with the loose setting powder only in this area. I stopped right here because if I bring it down lower, it's going to make my nose look longer and it's going to defeat what I want. I want it to look a little bit shorter. That's why I bronzed down here. This part, I do let it bake like pretty much until I'm done with my entire makeup. I'm going to use a Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Matte Bronzer, a Luxie 514 blush brush. This is a blush brush, but it's kind of like a narrow shape, if you can tell. It's kind of like long. It's like kind of like an oval. And I like that because I think it fits my face. So that's another thing that I think you have to figure out when you're bronzing and contouring. Find a brush that works for your face, because everybody has different size faces. Like some have a shorter like area to work with. You want to find a brush that fits good into the hollows of your cheekbones, because if you use a brush that's too big, it's going to be harder for you to have precise application, and you might apply some bronzer too low or too high. So what I do is I kind of start like this. I stamp, and then I'm going to sweep upward. And I'm sweeping upward and away, up and away, like that, to kind of blend it out and blend it upward and not downward, okay? Now I'm just going back and forth to blend it into the hairline. And I'm using really light pressure because I don't want to disturb any of the products that we have underneath, any of the cream or anything. And for my forehead, I'm going to work from the back forward. So I'm going to apply color closest to my hairline, stamp it on, and we're going to sweep forward a little bit, forward and back. That's just kind of what I do. I go forward and then I go backward. Okay, I do this part a little bit, and then my chin. For my chin, I only go backwards like this. Now if you want some real, like if you want your cheekbones to be really defined, you take it a step further. You can stop right here if you like this look. But if you really want a defined contour, like super cut, go in with a cool toned bronzer. This is the Wet n Wild contouring palette in Dulce de Leche. So I like this one because it's really cool toned. It's not that dark. It looks a little bit darker when you apply it. And for this, I'm going to use an even smaller brush. Let's see, I'm going to use this one. This is an angled brush. It's skinnier than the other one, and I'm only going to use the edge of it. So I'm going to apply a little bit color to the edge, tap it off. Stamp that right in this area here. Like from your knuckle along your ear, bring your finger down, and that's where you want to stop. So right here, just stamp that color directly onto the hollow. This one you don't want to bring up. You just want to keep it right there. Then I'm going to go back into this dual fiber brush. This is my handy dandy blending brush. I love this brush. Lightly sweeping over everything to blend it together. And also do that to your forehead. Blend all the powders in together. Okay, I like to apply my blush like mostly on the apples of my cheeks right here. You can smile a little bit, and this is like the area right here. This little round part. This is where I like to apply most of my product. I know I look really cringy. This is a dual fiber brush, so I like that because it applies a little bit at a time and it blends as you apply. And then I bring it into, I just bring it straight back into the contour. But most of it is right here at the apples, and then I just kind of blend it into the contour. Okay, now we're going to apply highlighter. I'm going to use a Morphe M510 brush and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlight. You want to apply that to the highest point of your face. I like to move my face into an angle and where it captures the light, like right here. I can see that the light is being captured right there. So I just go like that. Stamp it on. I like to do stamping motions, as you can tell, and sweep a little bit to blend it. Stamp and sweep. But now, I like to blend my highlight because I don't like when you can see the strips. Okay, like where it just looks a strip of highlight. I can't stand that. I can't stand that. I'm sorry, not to offend anyone. Okay, it's just important to blend your highlight as well, okay? You can see like right here is the edge of the highlight. So I'm going to apply my brush directly over top of that and blend it just lightly at a slight angle. I'm holding my brush at a slight angle, going directly over top of that. Only the edge of the highlight. I can see right here is where my highlight ends. Directly over top of that. Blend it so that it blends in with everything else and you don't see a stripe. So I'm going to apply this like that with my finger, just a little dot, then go in with my handy dandy and blend it out. Okay, and that's it. We're done. We are done. Yes. All you have to do is set it. So this is a Morphe continuous setting mist. I love this. It sprays so beautifully. I think it's important to set your face because we applied a lot of a lot of powder onto our face, and it can look a little bit dusty. And if you set it with a makeup setting spray, it's going to set the powders down onto the foundation underneath your peach fuzz and stuff, and it's going to look more natural looking, more skin-like texture, and it's also going to give you a little bit of a dewy effect, healthy looking skin. So just set this. So I forgot to mention, you can also highlight your inner corners. I had just already done that previously. But yes, highlight your inner corners and your brow bone to give you a little bit more of a lift appearance, and your inner corners just to make your eyes like pop more. Okay, you guys, so we are finally done creating dimension, contouring, highlighting, defining, creating these bomb cheekbones. Finally. I know this might have been a long video, but I thank you if you stuck through and watched it all. I love you for that. I hope you learned from this video, and hopefully your contouring skills get better. Please give me a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. Share it to your friends and family so they can have some bomb contouring also. I love you guys. I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye.